Hey everyone! Today is our
Judy.
fourth Claude Code Along, and we're so excited because today we have Robin Allenson with us who's going to discuss TMUX. I am not the person to lead this session, so I am just going to MC it and hand it off to all you fine professional builder coder people who can take it from here. So I will back out and let you all run with it. Thank you.
Thanks, Adrian.
So I should apologize in advance. I just bought a new monitor. And so probably at some point in my conversation with you guys, things will go horribly wrong
This is
and
the
I
smoke
won't be able
test.
to,
Yes.
yeah, I won't be able to find my mouse or something. And like I said earlier, I woke up on the wrong side of bed this morning. So I'm currently, sharing the family's one brain cell. And I think somebody else has it for the day. But all that said, I'll try and take you through why I think TMUX is so useful. And um, let me think. I guess first thing before we start is I don't know many TMUX features, but I use it for a couple of things, and I think it's just so useful. So I want to kind of explain what those things are and why I think sooner or later most of you are going to bump into exactly the same problems, and then you have an easy kind of TMUX fix when you hit those things. Um,
Robin,
so um, yeah,
Robin, can I ask for the maybe the group? What is TMUX?
yeah. Um, so um, I want to say that originally it stands for Terminal Multiplexer. And so in the old days, which I still
You are
remember,
exactly
remember,
right. Quick Google search on the side. You're
yeah,
doing
it's not
great.
like I did that before. I am in fact an LLM with a deep fake on top. But then so it used to be that you had these things called terminals, which looked like kind of enormous television sets, except they only had green and they only had letters. And they would be a dumb terminal, so they had no computer, just a screen, and they would go and talk to this big computer in the what we call the mothership, um, um, and that would do all the intelligent work. But that big computer was like the size of a room, and it had kind of the computing power of kind of an iPhone 3. So those were terminals. And then it was useful to, you only had one screen, but it's useful to show a bunch of things on that screen. And effectively, you wanted to have different spaces, like you do on your Mac, and look at different windows and do different things in different places. And so that's what the TMUX, the terminal multiplexer, so multiple terminals at once. That's what TMUX was invented for in the old days of Unix. Um, However, that's kind of not why I think it's super useful. So maybe I'll just take you through, firstly, the kind of problems I initially had and why I started using TMUX again. I used to use it, well, so long ago, I would have to reveal my age. And now I started using it a couple of months back, and it's just been a godsend. Uh, so, um, so most people, let me see, at some point you're going to be using Claude Code, and you might be doing Claude Code sessions that take longer and longer, and take longer and longer without you necessarily being there to hit the return key every time. And so if you, I think most folks start by actually reviewing every change, and then maybe at some point they go to Shift Tab, and maybe at some point maybe they start using a swarm. So a swarm is lots of claudes working together, or they start using subagents, or they use Ralph loops. So these are all different ways of using lots of claudes together. And so as a result, those all work independently for a few minutes, or for half an hour, or for multiple hours, and spit out results. So I was doing that, and I found that, so I was just doing it on my laptop, and at some point I would close my laptop to go from work to home, or to go from home to work, or somebody else would close my laptop when I carefully left it on overnight doing lots of work for me. And there's a chat going on at the same time. And unfortunately, even though this is a multiplexing session, that is one thing I can't do. But then, Claude would shut down and stop. And so I was like, well, what I really want is Claude just to continue working when I'm doing something else, or when my computer is doing something else. And so then I went to rent a little server in Germany, a company called Hetzner. But you can rent servers all over the place. So Google will let you do that, or Amazon, Amazon Web Services, or Azure. There are lots of places where you can rent a server. The joke is that the cloud is somebody else's computer. And so if you log into somebody else's server, or your server somewhere else, then you can leave Claude running still, but you still face the same kind of problems. So when you log in, then Claude runs and it's kind of there whilst your terminal is there. But if you disconnect, then sometimes Claude will just stop. And so what you want is for Claude to keep on running, even once your connection is broken, and then you reconnect and you want to see the same things. And so there are a couple of ways you can do that in Unix. So let me share my screen and start actually showing some things rather than preambles. Oh, please can I share my screen? It has the power. Okay. Okay. So you just go somewhere new, and then oops. Ding. So this is my box. It's a Linux box, Ubuntu server, but really that's just another word for an Ubuntu, like a Linux computer that's living in Germany. I'm not in Germany, and I'm using this tool called SSH to log into the computer, just like I would a terminal on my laptop. Who knows what SSH is? Or rather, put up your hand if you don't know what SSH is. Okay. So when you're using a terminal, you type things into the command line, right? Who hasn't used a terminal yet, or the command line? No. Okay. So the command line is sometimes called the shell, and the shell is kind of like imagine the computer on the inside. The shell is like the Earth's crust, and you're doing things on top and talking to the computer underneath. That's how I think of it. When you log into a computer that's somewhere else, you want to log in with a shell, but you want to log in remotely and securely. And so you use this thing called SSH, which is secure shell. And to get SSH working, then we should definitely do a completely different session, because I'm probably not the one to show you how that works. But it's actually super easy. You can get Claude to set that up for you. Basically, you have a private key and a public key, so cryptographic keys, and you share some of those with the remote system and with your laptop, or at least Claude will do that for you. And after that, your laptop can talk to the remote computer completely securely, just like you would use HTTPS instead of HTTP. And then your shell commands are being sent down the pipe to the computer, and then the screen effectively, or the terminal, is being sent back up to your computer. Because that's actually very little information, like your keystrokes are super simple, and what's coming back is just text. That can go very, very fast. It can still feel like you're doing something in your shell on your local laptop, even though it's a remote computer, compared to, I don't know, looking at Netflix over HTTPS as an example. That's got a load more information. In the olden days, it used to be very laggy. When you type something, it might take a second or two before it appeared on your screen. because it had to go kind of all the way back to the computer and back to you. But so now I'm logged into this server, and I can start Claude on this server. Let me do. So I use this open source software called Try. Yeah, we're just going to go into make some pages. Yeah, okay. So I'm looking for an existing project that I have. Make Some Pages is a project that I use to update pages for the Similar AI website. And I want this existing project, so it's quite big, and so I want to give Claude something he can actually get its hands on, because that's also going to be useful for TMUX as well. But then let me see. So if I start Claude here, and then yeah, it's a bit hard for me to simulate closing my computer, because then I'm going to lose all you guys too. But what will happen is I'll start Claude, and then it will say something like broken pipe when I open my computer again. Broken pipe just means like the pipe to the remote computer is gone, and Claude won't be there anymore. So I can still go there and go to Claude, and then I can go to resume. But sometimes Claude hasn't continued working. I just open up that session and then we start again. What I'd like is for Claude to continue working even when I'm not on the computer. And so there's a couple of commands you can use to do that. So one of them is no hop, which, yeah, maybe somebody can Google that, because I've now forgotten what it actually stands for. But it's something like no, and then it doesn't turn itself off when you leave. So this is a very simple way of doing that, and then you can utter a command like this. Yeah. So normally no hub is used for kind of Unix commands that you want to run in the background, but not super useful for something like Claude. But we can. So I'm now on my remote server, and I can now use TMUX here. The advantage of TMUX is that it gives you a screen with a set of windows in, and those windows have what are called panes in them. You can do different things in the different windows, so different shells commands in the different windows, kind of like different tabs on a browser. That's a way to think about it. And that's all running on your server. Liz, did you have a question?
No, I don't know why I put a dot on your screen. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I was kind of impressed that it works. Then, so, what just happened?
Liz, you were saying you were trying to zoom in. Robin, is there a way to? Oh yeah, you're doing it. Cool. Thanks.
Thank you.
I learned you can also do it on your own Zoom as well.
That's what I was trying to do. And then I opened up a whole menu.
If you look up the tab at the top of the screen that says Robin Allenson screen, the three dots, it's on that menu. But then you have to scroll up and to the left to get back to the orientation.
Perfect.
Like without my glasses, I'm -7, and with my glasses, I'm not that great either. So the bigger letters.
We all need different glasses. That's why, yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Thank you.
Sure. So I'm going to show you what TMUX is back on my home laptop, because we're now logged into this remote server, and I want to show you a bit on the remote server too. But the advantage is that TMUX is running as some code on the remote computer. And it's got all of these different Claudes running within TMUX, if you like. And then if I log out, or I'm disconnected from the remote computer, it still continues to run. And I still have all those different windows and all those different tabs running on that remote computer, even though I'm disconnected. And then when I connect back in, I can reattach, as it's called, to TMUX. And then I see all those windows, all those tabs all over again. And they've got all those running things, and those things continue to run without me. So that's why TMUX is so useful. It's the real thing. Um, it that isn't actually always that hasn't always been its primary use case, but that's why I use it, and that's why I think it's so useful for Claude Code, because sooner or later you end up wanting to get Claude to do things that run for longer and more often without you. And so that works well on your local computer. But if you have it running on some other machine, TMUX is super useful. It is.
Now I do have a question. So to better understand this, so you're saying it is not the actual process that automates your Claude Code sessions and like keeps them running. It is just almost like a remote computer server that you run Claude Code on. So that way, when you shut your lid, you do whatever, it's still running because that's going to be like an always live computer or connection. Is that what you're saying?
So very close. So it's not the computer or server itself. That's
Okay.
you need to rent a server or a computer to do that. But TMUX is a program you run on that computer that allows you to have multiple windows with multiple different Claudes running, and you can see lots of different things in those different windows. And it's running on that remote computer. And when you close your laptop or you lose a connection, when you go back in, then you just see everything as it was. In fact, not as it was, it's progressed in the meantime, and you can see everything as it is. And if that's useful to you, actually, multiple people can log into that computer and attach to the TMUX sessions and see all those windows.
Got it.
And
Okay.
so they're all
Perfect.
seeing those different things. But
Okay.
then,
Awesome.
so
Thank you.
that's kind of the first bit. Let me just show you around TMUX a little bit. We're actually already in TMUX. This is a TMUX example. This is a kind of, I don't know, flashy new age TMUX that I don't normally hold with, but where you've got different tabs, and they're each running different shells. And so this is kind of like using just using a terminal and having different tabs in the terminal. TMUX is much like that. In addition to that, you have different panes within each window. So a pane is kind of a rectangle or a square within the window. So I'm just going to exit from my server, and then I'm going to wait just a minute. I use dangerously skip permissions so much that I figured I should actually just make an alias for it. But then I kind of like the fact that I have to type it out, and that I often forget. I forget whether it's I've typed like skip permissions dangerously so many times, or dangerously bypass permissions, because when you log into Claude, it says bypass permissions on. And so I often forget whether it's bypass or the other thing. But I kind of like that it takes 3 words I have to type, because it's still a threshold. I worry that if I just made it into a kind of something that's easy to put in, then I would forget it at some point and something bad would happen. But so I'm just going to ask Claude to um, uh, and so what I'm hoping is Claude will now spin up a swarm, and by default, when it spins up a swarm, it often uses a kind of TMUX set of window panes to do that. But I have no idea if it's going to do it now. So when it does that, then down the left-hand side, we have the main administrator. And over on the right-hand side, we have a set of panes. Looks like it's just running them here. Why can't I? Oh, wait. No. Damn it. It's not doing that. So here it's showing me the teammates like this. Normally, or often, it would kind of show teammates over in a different pane of the window, and then I can use my TMUX shortcuts to go between panes. Let me open up a new window. Get a bit bigger. So there are two important TMUX commands. The one is TMUX minus T new, and one is TMUX minus T attach. So new means create a completely new TMUX session, which sets that up as a process running on your computer. You do lots of things inside it, and then you can just come out of it and do something else. Those things will continue as processes on your computer, which can be a remote computer or your laptop. And when you want to go in and have a look again, you can go attach, and then you'll get the window viewing everything that's going on. So new is to create something. If it's already running, then you can use attach. If you say attach, then here we've got a session already running. If I exit this, wait, I want to. I have now a new session. Down below, you can see this thing. It says one ZSH. ZXH is the Z shell or the Z shell, depending on which side of the pond you're on. This is just a shell. So other shells include bash and fish. There are a couple of others. If I want to create a new window for in TMUX, then I do Control B. So this is on MacBook, you do Control B, and then after that you do C for create. So these are things you need to do on your keyboard, and they don't have mouse shortcuts. But so you do Control B, and you take your hands off, and then you click C, and a new window will appear. So down here you can see we've got 1 and 2. If I do Control B and 1, then I go back to terminal 1. So maybe it's easier if I say Control B 2. Control B 1. So now I'm flipping between these. This is more interesting if we have something actually running here. So again, I could do, I should probably, okay, we've got here, and I can go Control B 1, and then I go back to window number 1. So let me pause, because I've actually given you lots of theoretical information. Does everybody understand what's going on right now? It'd be easy to ask, who doesn't understand what's going on? At least your mic is on, so I feel like
No, I was going to say to your first question, I think I understand it. So you're saying you have multiple instances of your terminal running at the same time. That's why you have window one, window two. You can run them simultaneously, and
That's
kind of
it.
benefit from that processing power.
Yeah, it's kind of like different tabs in your browser,
Yeah.
but now you've got different tabs in your terminal browser or in your terminal. And this is also something that can live on another computer. So that when I log out for the day, or I don't know, I accidentally close my terminal, or I don't know, nowadays computers don't crash that much, but the computer crashes, and then I go back in, everything's still running on that remote computer, and all those windows are still there. So I can set things up. So maybe here I'm just going to look at. Um, okay, so I've got a bunch of things running. I've got a bunch of things in my. Oh, do I have my? Oh, that's useful. Yeah. So, and then I can go back to uh, what happened? Oh, I can go back to my other Claude, and I can do some things. I say, uh, can you look for the hmm, actually, I can come back here, and yeah, it's actually, I can see the migration plan is in analysis. So if Claude couldn't find that, um, which I'm guessing it will, yeah, so it's found the analysis directly, then I could guide it a little bit. So sometimes it's useful on a local laptop. You might just do that. I don't know, you might open Finder and look for the analysis plan. If you're on a remote a computer, you can't do that anymore because it doesn't have Finder. So you're just doing everything through the command line. So then it's useful to open up another terminal and have those both running at the same time. Um, that's actually oh, unlimited minutes. Well, be careful what you wish for. No, um, does anybody have any questions? By the way, people talking is having questions, and people not talking is I don't have any questions right now. Um,
I think so, yeah.
I'm trying to work out. Oh, okay, I've got a better task. Um, and okay, so I'm trying to work out how to. Wait, can you? I'm hoping that Claude is now going to open up um, a TMUX like window, and I can show the different panes. To navigate the different panes, you can do Control B and then an arrow, so you can go up and down or left to right, and yeah, it's probably going to take ages to work out which chunks are done. And I should have just had this running beforehand, but it's been one of those days. So my preparation was negative rather than positive today. Um, yeah, it's
So
kind of
while this
it,
is running,
actually.
I've got one quick question. So
Sure.
um if we want to start using this, is it something as simple as we can go to Claude Code and say, I want TMUX? Because it seems like it would be something that you would potentially download in your command or locally so you can use it in command. Am I understanding that right?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. I think that
Because I'm assuming like if I downloaded it
yeah.
or connected it through Claude, that way I could use Claude through it.
So that no, that's unrelated. But so basically, you
Okay.
just do brew install tmux
Okay.
on a Mac, and it will uh, install that.
Mm. Okay.
Mostly, I think that tmux is likely to be installed. Okay, yeah, here through brew. But I think tmux is likely to be installed on most Macs anyway. I don't know if you guys open up a terminal and type in TMUX. Can you see whether it's there?
Not found.
Okay, then I guess that answers that. Um, uh,
Same for me.
oh,
But I'm on like a
yeah.
2020 MacBook Pro.
Yeah, but I mean, like
A pre.
TMUX, TMUX was created before you were born, so it's in a lot of Unix distributions. Um, that was super common. And if you guys can see down here, this is what happens. Down here it says client loop send disconnect broken pipe, which basically means I was logged into the server and now now I'm not. Um, uh, because now I'm just in my local laptop. And then if I want to go back in, I'd have to do this. Uh, and then I can do this, and I'm back into TMUX, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
I'm trying to see if we're going to get a. Oh, my my screen has my other screen has screened me. Um, mm, oops. Okay, let me try and retrieve my screen. Oh, this is not working at all. I think I've lost all my terminals. Oh, well, yeah, it's failed miserably. Um, please, swarm team members to work on. let's see. My final attempt. I've been in TMUX doing these different panes all day long. And so now when I actually want to demo it, it's like there's an idiom somewhere.
Your technology also woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
That's it. That's it, exactly. Okay, bated breath. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's working. Okay.
Take a look at the image I just dropped in the chat here. I think this is what you're trying to describe. So like you would have your server, you'd have your individual sessions, and then you can break that down even further to have things
That's it.
run. I don't know if you're able to open up the chat window at all, but the image I dropped, I think it helped me visualize it. I don't know if it would help others, but I'm a visual learner.
That's it, exactly.
Okay,
Very nicely
perfect.
done. Oh, yes. So you can maybe now see. So these are the different things it's working on. You just zoom out a bit. Each of these are different panes. So it's kind of got four panes it's working on. And at some point, it might ask me something in one of these panes or over here. Like it's unlikely because I think I bypassed all permissions. So it's just going to do everything. But I can move from pane to pane by doing Control B and then going up. So here I'm currently in the oops. This was orange, and then I can go into blue or cyan maybe. Oh, now we've got green, and then I can go down into red. Can everybody see where I'm going? And so
Yes, we
right
can.
now it's not asking me any questions,
Yes.
so no needed. No need to actually do any of this. But I'm doing Control B, so the Control and the B, and then I'm using the up arrow or the down arrow to move in between these different panes, just like Liz was showing in the chat. So these are all panes running in one window. Oh, it's got a question for me on the left-hand pane. So now I'm going to do Control B, Control B, in order to try and proceed. Oh, it's got a million questions for me. I was wondering how come when I pressed 1 to proceed, it like didn't do anything, but actually it did something. It's just that it's okay. They're all off doing things. Sometimes what I find is that the not just the main agent, the kind of team manager asks things, but sometimes the other individual agents come back and say, "Oh, I've got a problem. Would you like this or this or this?" And then it's helpful to jump into the individual agents as they're running. And the advantage of doing this in TMUX is I can now leave my computer, at least if this is running on my remote computer. I can just leave this and then come back 2 hours later and check on what they've done. So again, Control B C creates a new window. The Control B 1 or 2 or 3 iterates through the windows. And then Control B and then the arrows mean that you can move in between the different panes when you have multiple panes in a window. And then TMUX minus T new starts everything up. And TMUX minus T attach goes in and attaches everything. And if you're in a window, you can just type exit, and then it will close the window for you. Same thing, if you're in a pane, you can type exit, and it will remove the pane and just leave the other panes that are there. So it's kind of like a way of having, tabs on your terminal, but actually in the terminal rather than on the browser. I now need to actually shut this down because I don't actually want it to do any of this work. It's going to come out with a huge amount of crap that I will have to clean up. I guess that's kind of it.
One question I have, being money conscious, you're running all of these agents. I'm assuming these would all be local in quotes because I know you're connected to TMUX. So it wouldn't be using credits at that point?
So I have a Claude plan.
Okay.
And so when you're using Claude Code, you can use your plan, or you can also use API credits, especially if you'd like additional usage above your credits. When you log into a remote server, a remote computer, then you can also log in, and it will give you a little device code. It's normally like an 8 or 9 digit or 8 or 9 letters and digits. And then you go in and open your browser on your laptop and log in, and then it says, give me your device code. You give it the device code, and then kind of like setting up Netflix on a smart TV. And then that remote computer is authorized to use your plan. And then when you use Claude Code on that, then it's using your plan on that. And
Right.
it works in just the same way.
And that's kind of like, can you put limitations on it to say like, don't spend $1,000?
So on the plans, at least, if you don't enable the extra usage, then when they run out, they run out. And the plans are set up for there's limits for the first for like within 5 hours, and limits within I want to say 24 hours, and then within a week. And so if you max it out, so I've maxed it out within 5 hours, and then it just stops and just says you've run out of credits, and come back when the 5 hours is up.
Okay.
And so that most often that happened to me when I was running a Ralph loop. So that's running Claude repeatedly, and then it finishes up a task, and then another Claude instance is created. It just does it, well, for me, all through the night. Then at some point, it just said, all your credits are gone. I can't do anything. And then when I came back in the morning, the credits were refreshed, and it kept on going. So that's within a 5 hour period. If you continue to use it after the 5 hours, you do that a couple of times, then maybe your 1 day period will be gone. And if you keep on doing that a few 1 days, then maybe your whole week period will be gone. But it will just stop responding. It will just say, it will just give you I think a 529 error. It's kind of okay.
Good to know. Okay, so it's set within the tools that you're using, has nothing to do with any settings that you would do on. Okay, that makes sense.
That's it. But then if you use the API usage, that is not so. So the API usage, it will keep on happily spending your money, as it were.
Right.
This is a way of kind of, here we've got 10 different agents running in parallel. Yeah, that's a way of 10xing your cost or your token usage. The good thing about the plans is that you often get a lot more token usage for less money than the API usage. The bad thing about the plans is if you don't use anything that month, then you still pay.
Right.
But so far, not using anything that month has not been an issue for me.
Same. I think all of us on this session can relate.
Yeah. Okay. Any more questions? That's all I got.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Robin. This is really fantastic.
Thank
We
you,
got
Robin.
3 minutes to spare. Ben, do you have any questions?
No, this is great.
Ben and Liz's attendance has been 4 for 4, and we just love it. We're gonna get to a point where they're gonna do one of these and walk us through what they've built.
Liz, thank you, Adrian. Liz has me beat. I missed the first one.
Oh, okay.
So
Liz, what have you been building?
So I have been doing a lot of agents that help me be more efficient. So my main role being in SEO, I do a lot of content optimization. So like the analyzation of the data. So I built an MCP server that connects my Google Search Console, Google Analytics, my keyword maps, my target audience profiles, like a bunch of different data points. And then it goes through and I threw my audit process into the middle of it and said, okay, take that data, look at it in this way, and then spit out the results. And then, as Adrian knows, I wrote an article for the SEO community on using Gemini gems. So I take that data and then I work with it in a gem that has a task. But I've also done it for reporting. I've done it for just like overall strategy analysis, just to like keep up on things. And it's been really nice. I obviously double check it all. I have not had a lot of hallucinations, knock on wood and everything else. But yeah, they seem to be running really well for me.
Amazing.
Cool.